Hello guys, this is Doran's Movies, and today I will be bringing you 10 World of Warcraft retcons. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. War of the Ancients is the biggest series of retcons in the history of Warcraft. From changed personalities to many different altered characters, races and origins. This isn't unexpected though, as when you go back in time in the actual timeline instead of an alternate one and change the actual history, you're bound to get a lot of different plot holes. Even though at the point when the trilogy was written we didn't really know too much about the War of the Ancients, there are still some very clear points that show that Blizzard didn't really plan out a trilogy. An example is in Warcraft 3 when Tyrande doesn't recognize the orcs, even though Broxigar played a part in the War of the Ancients as an orc time traveler. Apart from just that, sources from pre-War of the Ancients trilogy just do not match up with the history from the books, and this brings out a lot of different contradictions. When Chen Stormstout met Rexxar during the bonus campaign in Warcraft 3, he said that he was a brewmaster of Pandaria. This was the first mention ever in the Warcraft universe of this continent. However, with the release of the expansion Mists of Pandaria, we learned that Chen is actually not from Pandaria, but from the Wandering Isles, and he's never actually visited the Pandarian continent until recently. His family had split some generations ago, which explains why he only recently reunited with the rest of the Stormstouts of the land of Pandaria. With the first appearance of Garona Halforcen in Warcraft 1, it was said that she was a half-orc, half-human. The reason why this made sense at the time was because when the portal opened, the first war didn't really start almost immediately, but quite some years later. When this was changed in the actual timeline, it was impossible for her to be of that origin, as this would make her like a half a year old or a year old. So, according to that, Blizzard changed her to be a half Draenei, half orc, and filled the gap of her human-like appearance by saying that she was mutated by Gul'dan. The so-called Draenei controversy is one of the biggest retcons in the Warcraft universe. Originally, the Draenei were described as a peaceful shamanistic race native to Draenor. However, that completely changed as we learned that they're actually a subrace of the Eredar from the world of Arhas, and that they arrived to Draenor not so long ago, and that shamanism is only a recent addition to their society. This forced Blizzard to change the backstory from the Eredar being the ones who corrupted Sargeras, to Sargeras after he was corrupted approaching the 3 Eredar leaders and corrupting 2 of them. Also, their name was pronounced a bit differently in Warcraft 3 as Draenei as opposed to the current Draenei pronunciation. In Warcraft 1, human priests, especially the clerics of Northshire, are described as worshippers of God. In Warcraft 2, they're later referencing angels, heaven and God as well. However, with Warcraft 3 and later World of Warcraft, the light was changed into more of a philosophy as opposed to a religion worshipping a single powerful being. The light, even at this point, is still a big mystery in the Warcraft universe, and we don't really know too much about it, but it is believed that it is an energy that exists all throughout the universe, and the ones who believe it get its powers. So the entire god idea has been retconned, and it was never actually in World of Warcraft. Sometime after Arthas sailed to Northrend, a message arrived from Terenas recalling his men back to Lordran. Since Arthas had no way to actually convince his men, as this was the word of the king, he had to choose a different route. In Warcraft 3, Arthas hired troll and ogre mercenaries and had burned his own ships, preventing his men from retreating. He then blamed the mercenaries for it, which led to their deaths. However, in the Death Knight comic later released, the mercenaries were portrayed as humans, and in Wrath of the Lich King in the Halls of Reflection, mobs known as shadowy mercenaries were also human. It is still unclear who these mercenaries are, but a retcon has most likely taken place, changing their race. In Warcraft 3, Tichondrius claimed that Frostmourne was forged by the Lich King.
The rune blade that you carry was forged by the Lich King and empowered to steal souls. Yours was the first one it claimed.
However, in the Arthas novel, it was confirmed that the sword was in fact created by the Nethracim in order to control the Lich King. The Lich King then later used this exact sword that was supposed to control him to attract Arthas and break free from the Burning Legion. This one is a very clear retcon, as Tichondrius is the leader of the Nethracim, and it would be very strange for him to not know the origins of Frostmourne. Originally, the Frostwolf Clan was exiled on Draenei and had fled through the Dark Portal. At some point they settled in the Alterac Mountains, where they had befriended the native wolves. However, in Worlds of Draenei the story is completely different because they migrate by seasons and they live in Frostfire Ridge, and they also seem to always had wolves, as we had seen from Lords of War. This isn't really a retcon, since it is the alternate universe after all, but there are still some changes and contradictions when it comes to the Frostwolves being native to Frostfire Ridge and then only migrating to Nagrand. In this case, the name most likely has the same issue as the Draenei clan, as they were only named according to their actions on Azeroth, making their Draenei history very confusing. Rend and Maim are the sons of Blackhand the Destroyer. During the Second War, they led the Blacktooth Grin clan, which was defeated, and after that they set up a base in Blackrock Spire. However, in Warcraft 3, they were actually seen near Magteridon as Fel Orc Blade Masters, and it was hinted that after their defeat they went to Outland and joined the Fel Orc army. However, in World of Warcraft, that definitely doesn't seem to be the case, as Rend is the war chief of the so-called Dark Horde and is killable in-game. Judging from his appearance, he's definitely not a Fel Orc, and he has nothing to do with either Magteridon or Outland. In Warcraft 3, Kiltas and the Blood Elves were captured for allying with the Naga by Lord Garithus. While in prison, Lady Vashj offered Kiltas a way to escape by going through the portal to Outland and allying with Illidan. However, in World of Warcraft it is a bit different, as many Blood Elves stay behind in Silvermoon and only the healthiest ones went to search for alternate sources of magic. Even though the story still remains with Kiltas and the Blood Elves on Outland, and you could say that not all Blood Elves were at the time following Kiltas, it was still more of a desperate escape from execution in Warcraft 3 than a way to find new future and glory for the Blood Elves. Alright, that is all I have for this video. Now do leave your feedback and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel already, as it really helps out and keeps all the videos going. And thanks a lot for taking the time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.